What's up, everybody? It's your boy Watley, broadcasting live from my man cave, aka the Heat House. This is the fifth and final installment of my Clipper education series. This is basically a continuation of my little rant on my personal preference. Just to give you guys a brief overview, once again, for anybody who wants to learn how to cut or who wants to cut their own hair, I would suggest you get a adjustable lever clipper, because you could use guards on it and it'll make your life a lot easier than buying, say, a detachable blade clipper, which you would have to then have an extra cost of buying more buying more blades for the clipper. I would also say that for me personally, when I cut my own hair, I usually use this, which is my Andis Masters, but I've also used my wall line of clippers as well as my detachable blade clippers. There's no rule on what to use for hair cutting. It boils down to personal preference and what you like to use. I've been fortunate enough to be able to afford multiple clippers to find out what I like and what I don't like. I could use pretty much any of these tools to accomplish what I want in a haircut. I will say this though. The worst tool I've ever had is this right here. This is the Oster StarTech, which is also known as the 76 Lite. This is a 2-speed rotary motor clipper with a detachable blade. It was one of my earlier purchases, and I thought I got a good deal with it on Amazon until I got it. After a while, it started falling apart. As you can see, the housing is completely broken. Pieces are falling off, and that just lets you know you get what you pay for. I then had to upgrade to my Andis BGRCs, which have been very, very good for me. What else? My personal preference on trimmers are my Andis Styliner M3s. The reason is because I have a ProMate blade on it, which is a variation of the manufacturer's blade. This is a third-party blade. I love it because it doesn't get as hot as the original blade and it cuts a little cleaner to me. But once again, I say I could use any of these trimmers and clippers and achieve what I would like in a haircut. It's just personal preference. Certain things I like to use on certain days. Like I said, a big debate that I've heard is the give the Oster 76 over a adjustable clipper. Once again, like I said in my first video, you can achieve the same look and feel of a professional grade tool out of a consumer grade tool. It's just that you're going to use a little bit more effort in getting that haircut the way you like. Whereas with a professional grade tool, you're going to go less strokes, less time on the same haircut. What else? A little tidbit for some people who'd like to know: if you do own a detachable blade clipper, I gotta be honest, the 000 blade on the Andis does not work with the trick I'm about to tell you, but the 000 blade on the Osters does work with this trick. Now this trick only works with with guards that are from Andis. So for example, this is a guard specifically made for Andis, but you can use it on Oster fast feeds as well as the Oster 000 detachable blade on the Oster 76s. This right here is a number 2 guard. So for example, you can take your guard and use it right on top of your detachable blade clipper and cut. So it's not going to be as clean as, say, using the. You're not going to get as clean of a cut as using the number 2 detachable blade, but with enough strokes and going over the haircut a few times, you will get the same look. Once again, it boils down to the amount of effort you're putting into a haircut. So once again, the more you spend, the better your tools will be. But at the same time, don't spend more money if you don't need to. I mean, this is my favorite clipper, but likewise, this far cheaper wall clipper, with this far cheaper wall clipper, I could achieve the same look and feel as I would with that more expensive endless clipper. And to be quite honest, like I said, the consumer grade products is just fine for those of you who want to do self-cutting. And speaking of self-cutting, a question I get a lot is with the grain versus against the grain. To make it quick, I would say against the grain hair cutting is best because you get a more even cut all around, whereas with the grain cutting, especially those of you with curly, wavy hair, for example, if you're cutting with the grain, the blade is going to skip over the hair. So you're going to have hair, it's going to get cut, but it's not going to cut low enough to get a smoother, even cut. Whereas going against the grain is you're picking up the hair and you're cutting it cleanly. So the reason why a lot of people like to get with the grain is because it looks smoother, but all you're really doing is doing yourself a disservice, because you could do an against the grain cut and get a cleaner, more even look. And for those of you who are wavers, there's no way of losing your waves with an against the grain cut. Now the trick is, if you get a 1.5 with the grain, do not try to get a 1.5 against the grain, because that cut, because the hair is being pulled up and getting cut, is going to be a lot lower than the with the grain cut where the blade is skipping over the top of the hair. So for example, if you usually get a 1.5 with the grain, you would go 3, maybe 2.5 with the against the grain, because you don't want to go too low and end up with a 1. Because like I said, if you go with a 2 against the grain, you will cut your hair lower than you thought. And a rule of thumb is to always go higher and work your way down. If you want a 1.5, start with a 2.5 and go down. So for example, me, what I usually do is I'll take my 2 guard and I'll start cutting. I'll take a look. If I want more off, then I will go lower. But generally, you want to start high and work your way down. I believe I've answered most questions. Just give me a second as I check my notes. Yep, I think I pretty much covered it all. Please go ahead and comment, ask your questions, inbox me. You can catch me on Facebook at Watley Spin Cycle Petit-frere. Once again, I'm just trying to help out. If you got any more questions, let me know. Thank you.